Picture the Warriors running it back, but instead of one superstar, they have three. Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, all on the same floor. On paper, it is the most terrifying roster in basketball. But I ran the advanced data, and the model says it might also be the most fragile team in the league. So which one wins? Today, I predict exactly how good a Curry, LeBron, and Anthony Davis Warriors team would actually be. Let's break it down. Here's how the model works. First, the premise, the moves Golden State would actually have to make. Then step 1, the impact, how good this team is when everyone is on the floor. Then step 2, availability, how often these three will actually play together. Then the projection and where I could be wrong. The stats are verified, the read is mine, and I'll warn you now, the number that decides this whole thing isn't points, it's games. This is Game is Culture. Quick thing before we dig in, if you like predictions built on real data instead of hot takes, subscribe. It's free and it helps a ton. And fair warning, the final verdict is going to upset a lot of Warriors fans. Now the premise. First, the premise. Start with reality. This past season, the Warriors went 37-45, 10th in the West, and missed the play-in entirely. Curry was still brilliant, but he was basically alone. So the plan is bold. Trade for Anthony Davis and sign LeBron James, and surround the greatest shooter ever with two more future Hall of Famers. On talent alone, it is genuinely frightening. But talent was never Golden State's question. Stick with me because the question is something else entirely. So what's the actual deal? And this isn't just fantasy, it's been reported. According to Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports, Golden State would send Jimmy Butler's expiring $57 million contract plus draft capital to the Washington Wizards for Anthony Davis. Then they'd use a roughly $15 million mid-level exception to sign LeBron away from the Lakers. The pitch to LeBron is simple: reunite with Davis, team up with Curry and Draymond Green, play for Steve Kerr, and chase one more ring. But the cap math is tight, and Washington may not even want to deal, so pulling it off is far from a sure thing. Assume they do, how good is the result? Step 1, the impact. Start with the engine. Even now, Stephen Curry just averaged 26.6 points, 4.7 assists, and shot 39.3% from 3 on huge volume, with a 63.7 true shooting percentage. That is still one of the most efficient, high-usage offensive seasons in the entire league. The base of this team is elite before you add anyone. Now bolt on the other two. And Curry's gravity is the cheat code that makes the whole thing work. He shot 39.3% from 3, and he does it from all over the floor, the wings, the corners, and from way out past the arc. Map that range, and defenders simply cannot leave him anywhere. That is the spacing that turns a LeBron drive or an Anthony Davis roll into a layup, because the help defender is glued to Curry 30 feet from the rim. His shooting makes everyone around him better. Remember that, because it's the one thing keeping this team's ceiling sky high. Now the additions. LeBron James, even at his age, just put up 20.9 points, 7.2 assists, and 6.1 rebounds on 51.5% shooting. He's still a primary playmaker, and Anthony Davis, when he plays, gives you 20.4 points, 11.1 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks a night, a genuine two-way superstar. Put those two next to Curry's shooting, and the offensive ceiling is absurd. On paper, this is a 60-win roster. Hold on to that number, 60. It matters at the end. Just look at the scoring punch. Curry at 26.6, LeBron at 20.9, Anthony Davis at 20.4. That's roughly 68 points a night from 3 guys at elite efficiency, with the best shooter alive bending the floor for all of it. When this group is whole, it is a top 5 team in the NBA. I want to be crystal clear about that. The ceiling is championship real.
And it's not just offense. Anthony Davis fixes the one thing Golden State has lacked for years: a true rim-protecting anchor, nearly 2 blocks a game, and an elite interior defense all by himself. LeBron is still a high-field team defender, so when all of them share the floor, this team can score with anybody and finally protect the paint too. That is a complete team. The word doing all the heavy lifting in that sentence is when. keep your eye on it. Step 2, the availability. Here's the part the highlight reels skip. This big three would be 38, 41, and 33 years old. And last season, not one of them came close to a full year. This isn't an insult, it's just the data, and the data is brutal. Let me show you the only numbers that actually matter for this prediction. Games played this past season. Out of 82, LeBron, the Iron Man of the three, played 60 and still sat 22 games. Steph Curry played just 43, and Anthony Davis, the man they'd trade the future for, played only 20 games. 20! Look at that bar and let it sink in, because it is the entire story of this team. So here's the math that decides everything. The model doesn't care how good they are at their best. It cares about the odds all three are healthy on the same night. Even if you're generous and say each one plays 60% of games going forward, the chance all three suit up together is 60% times 60% times 60%. That's about 22%, roughly one night in 5. That is the number this entire prediction lives and dies on. Put that on the dial. The share of games where Golden State actually fields its dream trio together projects to land somewhere around 1 in 5. Low, deep in the red. A team built on 3 older stars doesn't get judged by its best lineup. It gets judged by how often that lineup even exists. And this one might exist for a quarter of the season if they're lucky. Think about what that actually means over a season. For maybe a quarter of the games, this is the scariest team in basketball. For the other 3 quarters, it's Curry and a patchwork supporting cast carrying the load, which is more or less the 37-win team they already are. The super team is real, it's just only on the floor part-time. That gap between the dream and the reality is the whole prediction. Step 3, the projection. So the model spits out 2 very different teams. The healthy version is a top 5 team, a real championship threat, something like a 55-win monster. The realistic version, the one that accounts for the calendar, is a high-variance group fighting for a play-in spot, somewhere in the mid-40s in wins. Same roster, the only variable is health. No prediction I've run has a wider gap between ceiling and floor than this one. And don't forget where they live. The West is a gauntlet. Oklahoma City won 64 games, San Antonio 62, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Nuggets, all stacked in the 50s. The line just to reach the play-in sat around 42 wins, so even the healthy version isn't running away with the conference, and the realistic version is scrapping just to get in. The talent says contender, the schedule says coin flip. So, the verdict. Run it all together and here's my call. This is not a title favorite, and it's not a lottery team. It's a dangerous, high-variance club with a contender's ceiling and a play-in team's floor. On my dial, it lands right on the line between dangerous and elite, a team nobody wants to face in a series that might not get to a good enough seed to matter. The grade is high, the confidence is not. Remember those 2 numbers I told you to hold? The 60-win paper roster and the 20-game season? That gap right there is the entire verdict. The most talented version of this team could absolutely win a championship. The most likely version is a fascinating, fragile play-in team praying for health when April arrives. Both things are true at once. That's what makes this the hardest team in the league to predict. Where could the model be wrong? In Golden State's favor, smart load management could keep these 3 fresh for the playoffs, where it actually counts. And a healthy Curry, LeBron, and Anthony Davis in a 7-game series is a nightmare for anyone in the league. Against them, one more major injury with the picks already shipped out for Davis, and this becomes a stuck team with no escape hatch. High reward, very real risk. That is the bet. So that's the prediction. On talent, a champion. On the calendar, a coin flip. The best version of this team is terrifying, and it might only show up a quarter of the time.
So tell me, would you make this trade, ship Butler and picks for Davis, and bet on a top-heavy, injury-prone super team, or stay young and flexible? Drop it below. And we are so close to 1,000 subs, so subscribe to stay up to date.